only One Kenobi here, only one. And welcome back to the channel on this 1st of October here. I'm going to shoot this before the sunlight goes. I was just thinking to myself, I need to do more of this series of TVC needs. So let's do it, this is it. And thank you for joining me. It's Mon Mothma that really made me think about this, because she is the one and only one that I really want in the Return of the Jedi line for TVC. She's the one that's top of the list. And I'll tell you why, because if they are going to do the 96, I have a stack of, Return of the Jedi card backs I want. But given we trust that they are going to do the 96, we can tick a lot of boxes here. So what I have in front of me here is a load of figures. I'm going to give you my top 5 and then 5 honourable mentions. Now the thing is, if I just explain with this guy here, this is General Madine. I would have him in my top 5 all day, every day. But for today, I'm not, because I'm trusting Hasbro are going to do the 96. So he is a given. He and a load of others are a given. Because there's not much remaining that they've not done card backs for, because they've done so many figures for Return of the Jedi. So what is left? And this is it, basically. And it's in this order. Number 1, Mon Mothma. 2 reasons why I want this doing. It needs to be done anyway. This is the one and only figure I believe that has ever been done for Mon Mothma that I know of, unless there's been some sort of comic pack figure. I mean, it does the job. It looks like her. It stands like her. It is just her as she is. Oh, hang on a minute. No, I'm lying to you. There is another Mon Mothma figure. Let's go and find her. She's in the prequels. God, I could never find her. There she is. I was filming her the other day. There is the figure for the Revenge of the Sith. And they cut her out of that film. I think she's in the deleted scenes, but whatever. But the actress who played her came back for Rogue One, and I think it's her playing Mon Mothma in Andor. But that's it, really. She just needs an upgrade of some kind. It's starting to look a little bit chunky, almost like a vintage 80s figure. That. Moving hastily on, so that's Mon Mothma. Then I thought, well, what else would I like to see in TVC? And I thought about what could be a nice card back, tribute to a legendary actress, and also a figure that needs a definite update, and it would be this one. I thought, along the lines of the Yavin Ceremony Leia, which is a lovely card back, and she has her hair in a lovely way, braided or whatever in that, doesn't she? Or plaited or whatever, Carrie Fisher in 77, or 76, or whenever they shot Star Wars. But this figure here, right, is Leia, whatever you want to call it, ceremonial Endor or whatever, when they make her look real pretty. I have this figure, I think, looking away, or I don't know how I have this figure actually, it's not the best, but I think I have a Han Solo hugging her, putting her arm around her, a spare Han, because he does, doesn't he? Han Solo embraces her when Luke goes off, and she finds out that, or at least they discuss the family relationship. But anyway, I think it could be a lovely card if they can get a good image of Carrie. God knows they've let Carrie Fisher down big time in TVC, have they not? God, the image of the Bespin Leia is dreadful. But still, this figure came with a really good wicket, actually. I wish I'd got him off the shelf for you. But that's my second choice, Totally a non-96 again, as his Mon Mothma was never a 96. And a strong character, and it could be a good card back too. Then we come to what's she called now? Sise Noodles, right? Now, Sise Noodles was an original Kenner figure, but she was never on a card back. I believe. I think she was in some sort of, not a vehicle set, obviously, but what do you call it now? Sorry about the delay there. It was mini rig was the word I was looking for. I never had one of them as a kid, you see, so that's why it wasn't coming to mind. But I don't know what she was classed as, a creature box or something like that. I really don't know. Uneducated on that, I'm afraid. But Sise Noodles, I know that the forces with Jessie would concur with this. She would make a really good card back. That figure would be awesome in a way with articulation. Let me just move to here. Look at this. Now, this guy did have his own card back, didn't he? I had an Man as a kid. Do not remember the packaging, but I presume it was a super big bubble for it to be on a card back. You'd expect a creature that big to be in a box, wouldn't you? Like this kind of dude. But anyway, Ifant Mon as well would be a good choice. I've not put him in my top 5, I'll tell you that now. He would be a good reissue, but I just think he's just too big for a TVC card. Whereas Sise Noodles would be the right sort of size, right? There she is. Sise Noodles, that's my number 3. Now, you're probably wondering, why the hell have we got so many pilots all together? Well, this one's a little bit more complicated because there was a vintage 80s 96 card for a TIE... Did I say TIE fighter pilots? I beg your pardon. I mean an A-Wing pilot. Now, the reason I've got Kian Farlander here is because when they brought out the B-Wing pilot card back, which is a vehicle card, they gave you a named character and they called him Kian Farlander, although they were alleging that Kian Farlander, who was an expanded universe character, they chose him. He is in the briefing room, allegedly. I don't know if that's canon or not anymore. And so they basically gave you the B-Wing pilot, but gave him an identity. Now, it was always a dream of mine that if they ever brought out the A-Wing pilot, they would choose this guy. Now, this is the equivalent of Kian Farlander for the Green Squadron, and it's Taicho Selju. And I love this figure, actually. I really do. It's the wrong helmet for my liking anyway. I think that, oh, I'm not even focused. I think that a green leader or pilot Green Squadron should have that pilot helmet there, which is what I remember from the movie. But this guy has got there's too many of them. That pilot, whoever he was, the Asian gentleman, had that kind of helmet, I believe. I'm hit! Was he Grey Leader? Oh, no, yeah, Grey Leader and the other fella were two different characters, but they were the helmets I remember. But anyway, this guy looks great, and that's who I want on an A-Wing card. Or an equivalent, some kind of pilot. But what I'm kind of trying to suggest here is that they could give us 2 A-Wing cards. I wouldn't be opposed to that, would you? And let's bring these 2 gentlemen forward. Let's just ignore them on calamari in the background there. Because specifically, I think they could give a non-96 card back or a tip of the hat to another pilot. Why not? You can't have too many pilots. And I'd prefer to go with this gentleman on the right here, which is Arnold Crinid. I'm just going from memory here. I've got nothing written down. I think it's Arnold Crinid, definitely that. This guy here is Jake Farrell, as seen in the... you see him in Return of the Jedi, but he comes from Rebel Assault. He's the guy training Rookie 1 in the asteroid belt. But anyway, he would also make a good card back. Why not? Because it's an image from the movie. But I think really the main pilot that you remember from the movie is Arnold. I keep saying Arnold Crinid. I think it's that. I hope I've got that name right. That's what I'd love to see. But that wouldn't be 96, and it would be brand new in a way, which is what we want. A bit of an extension. Although one could argue, man, we've got too many Return of the Jedi cardbacks. It's crazy. There's so many. But that's who I'd like. I don't know why I've put him in 4th place, really. He's in there. That's my top 5. I do like that pilot though. So anyway, but really I should have put this lady, young lady here before him. Really, this is more priority. Oola. Now, if they made this in TVC, my God, I would have mad respect for Hasbro for that, and Disney and Lucasfilm for, coming to their senses and realizing that she's a character from a film and put down the barriers, man. But Oola, as opposed to, I thought I'd put her in the background. I've forgotten her name. The other dancer, Nurse Gladys. Oola is the one that is just the most iconic, isn't she? And I can imagine a really good card back for her. And this figure, right, is just the one that screams aloud. Because look at the articulation. This comes from not the Legacy Collection, but the Jabba set is wrongly identified as the Legacy Collection, as is that 80 there, AT-AT, which is in the Shadows of the Dark Side, I believe it was called. The packaging is very Legacy Collection, but I think it's not Legacy. It's of that ilk, and that era period of time. But there you go. That is just such a rare figure, and that's the reason why I bought that Jabba. The bonus was that the Jabba was actually a really good figure as well. Let me go get him again. There you are. That Jabba the Hutt figure there is awesome, brilliant. And they'll probably do him again. I hope they make it as good as that. But Oola was the one figure I really wanted, and look at her, super articulated Oola. The other one is Dreadful. I think it's also in the Power of the Force too. Well, is it Dreadful? It's a bit more gangly, is it? It's just not as good as that, basically. And that is my top 5. That's what I would love as a great... Although that's kind of cheating, that one there. That's kind of like 2 in 1. But one of them is an honourable... One of them is a given because it's 96, right? In a way. but they could make a really good card back, a bit like for Dak Ralter. I mean, that Dak Ralter card is brilliant. They could do that for this Mr. Crinid here, or even Jake Farrell. And these are my honourable mentions. Let's get her out of the way. I only included her because of Oola, just to give her a little mention. She's also a really good figure that's articulated. She's from the Legacy Collection, which all of those figures were ripe and would have been good on a TVC card because they are almost the best they can be in terms of articulation. And now here are the others. And it pained me to put this gentleman in the honourable mentions and not in the top 5 because he is non-96 and he would make a good card back. God, he would make an amazing card back actually. Why aren't I putting him in here? Maybe I've made a wrong move there. But the reason he is not as appealing to me is because he is not as iconic in my mind as the likes of Admiral Ozzel, for example, or any of the commanders in A New Hope. But still, he would be really good. And see, this figure here, it's because he has no moustache or features that set him aside from the others. And that goes for Captain Needa too. And I just don't think he stands out as much. But having said that though, and I'm really looking forward to what they do with Admiral Piet. Now they've got this facial scan technology or whatever, and they're really good at doing likenesses now. They could potentially make this figure look like the actor who played Moff Gigerard. And this is the figure from the Saga collection, I believe. Got this from Echo Base, which is happening as we speak. This is Saturday the 1st of October. I'm filming this. So there you are. But it's a regret to not put him in the top 5. Here we are. These two gentlemen here. This is sort of like two figures in one. But I'm basically... honourable mention number 2 is for Imperial dignitaries, full stop. Now, one would hope they would give a Simalu. I really do hope they do that. And that could be an epic figure. Look at all these political figures that have been awesome, going back to 1999. And then you've got the likes of Dante Define here. They could really do a kick-ass Simalu. I would happily put him in number 1 spot with Mon Mothma, but because I'm trusting Hasbro are going to do it, there's no pressing urgency for it. Although there is. You know what I mean? It's confusing my thought process on this. But these two guys are awesome figures, and any Imperial dignitary would be good in TVC. That's honourable mention number 2. Honourable mention number 3 is one of my favourite card backs that are yet to be done in TVC, and it's Maydeen. That's a great figure. That could be a really good update as well. Same deal, it's going to be done. Finish of the 96 is in process, we hope. So again, that's why he's honourable. And that goes also for this Chewie. Now, I don't know if they're going to do this, man. Maybe I should have put this in the top 5. This is Chewbacca, obviously. We've seen this figure a lot. However, if they were to bring this out on, boom, this card back, I would be a very happy man. And I don't know if that qualifies as a 96 or not. It might do, in fact. Does it? It's an alternative image for Chewbacca, although they've done Chewie in TVC. They might think, well, we've done him, let's move on. But I wouldn't want that. I'd want them to give us all the variants of all characters, like including the likes of, I don't know, Millennium Falcon gun turret Luke, things like that. Death Star escape Han. But if they could do this outdoor Chewbacca, that would be something to really look forward to for a carded collector anyway. So that's why he is there. And then I think my 5th, madly enough, was Yoda. And you're probably thinking, why? Well, we've just had Yoda in the TVC, finally, but I would do anything for the alternative image card back to come out, which is specifically Return of the Jedi. I think the photograph might actually arguably the photograph is from Empire Strikes Back, but mostly it was released in public in the vintage kind of 80s days on Return of the Jedi, right? So I think that would just be an awesome card. So I don't know, man, what I'm thinking there, but I also had him. I know I'm going over now with the honourable mentions, but Giran needs a mention here. Non-96 would be a brilliant figure if it's as good as this Woof. Card back, could be good as well. So that's why I wanted to give him a shout as well. So there's 6 honourable mentions here in a way. The Yoda one's a bit of a weird one because, you know, he's not really that important. We've just had him released. So I'd sooner Giran over him. So in fact, sorry Yoda, you're out of there. My top 5 are here. And my honourable mentions would be Giran, Maydeen, Chewbacca, and then the dignitaries, and then this fella. But again, arguably, some of these are probably in the pipeline anyway, but she definitely isn't in the pipeline. There's no sign of her ever coming out, so that would be a real wowzer if they made her. Mon Mothma is almost certainly going to come out via either Andor or Rogue One, but I think she would look really nice on a Return of the Jedi. And these are just the other thoughts here, including my thoughts earlier on the Green Leader, or the Green Squadron A-Wing pilot. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm exhausted. I hope you followed all my waffle there. Leave your thoughts below on your top 5, of course. Subscribe if you are new. This has been Only One Kenobi. Only one. Out.